Hello guys, Voltolon here and welcome to another deck lab. In this one, we will be going through Gate Order, a very competent deck in the current metagame. Gate Order aims to use the powerful spell cards in Parallel Above Gate and Secret Order in order to special summon and swarm the board with these high power level 7 normal monsters such as Tough Striker, Max Raider, Die Up and so on. This deck aims to be able to get to these cards more consistently by running these draw power spells and monsters like the Ship of 7 Treasures, the Heavenly Gift and the Dosodon to find these spells more consistently. Parallel Above Gate requires you to have no cards in your hand in order to get the special summoning effect to proc, and as such, the way we are trying to achieve that is to run several spell cards. Not even several, just more than half the deck spell cards here. The reason why this is effective in getting to the Parallel Above Gate activation is you can set all your spell cards onto your spell trap zones and you will be simultaneously clearing your hand and not clogging your board. Since clearing your hand allows you to get to the Parallel Above Gate's condition faster, and not clogging your board means you can special summon more normal monsters onto the field with the Parallel Above Gate effect. The more interesting thing about this specific variant is we are playing the Verdant Vegetation of Spectral Shangri-La. This is most importantly a field spell, which means we can set this into our field spell zone to be able to have 4 set cards. That way we can more easily be able to empty our hand and not have Verdant Vegetation be unable to be played because we have clogged our spell trap zones. Now onto the main cards. We are running 3 Tough Striker and 1 Masked Fiery Noodle Jonin Die Up. These are your highest base stat targets for Above Gate and Secret Order, excluding legend cards. These are the main ones you normally want to go into, unless you have the Verdant Vegetation on the field face up, in which case you will want to go into these other 8 targets: Max Raider, Dracrush, and the Gaia the Fierce Knight. The most important thing about these cards is that they are Earth attribute, which means they will not be debuffed by the Verdant Vegetation's actual effect, which I'm realizing I didn't actually talk about. While this card is face up in the field zone, all face up non-Earth monsters on the field lose 300 attack and defense. You can only activate this card if you have face up monsters on the field whose total levels equal 10 or more, which is normally when you activate Parallel Above Gate, to be able to have those 2 level 7s to add up to 14. That effect can matter, which is why we are on this many Earth attribute monsters in the first place. But again, the real reason we are playing this is because it's a field spell that we can easily clear from our hand. Onto the low level monsters, you will note that because we are running so many spell cards, we will be able to clear them from our hand faster. The side effect is we have very little low level monsters. As such, we have to really carefully choose which ones we want, and these are the ones that I have stuck with. Dosodon is a very good way in this deck to be able to clear our hand faster and also dig into our deck 1 card extra. Normally I don't like the fact that it makes you go -1 in card advantage. However, we actually want to lose card advantage in order to empty our hand for Parallel Above Gate, so the -1 here is completely fine. Since we are running this kind of ratio, the hands you will find will inevitably be very bricky, and Dosodon can easily get you out of those positions. Unfulfilled Goblin is here because it can send itself from the field to the grave just by using its effect, which means you can unclog your board, unclog your hand in order to have more space to be able to activate the Parallel Above Gate. There is another card called Cannon Soldier which has a similar effect, but this one is special in that it debuffs your opponent's monster by 500 attack. This means that it can help your other high level monsters attack over your opponent's high level monsters, provided they are weak enough. This is very important since our cards just straight up don't really do much if they just don't have a higher number than your opponent's monster, since they have no effect to speak of. Our power spells, Parallel Above Gate and Secret Order are the main game plan of the deck, which is why we are running 3 of each. Judgment of the Rising Light and Card Devastation are part of a Judgment package, as I call it. This is important as, again, our normal monsters can't do much against our opponent's monsters if they just simply have a higher number than us. outside of some cards that we are playing to mitigate this problem, like the Goblin, the Order, the Verdant Vegetation. And Judgment is a very easy way to help get past those high base stat monsters. Not only that, in the current metagame, Gate Order is looking like a very popular deck, and that deck really wants to be able to clear the hand for parallel buff Gate like us, which is why Judgment of the Rising Light can be just willingly played into very often, which is why I think Judgment is very strong this format. If our opponent doesn't want to play into us, we also have the Card Devastation to be able to force them to clear the hand in order to then proc the Judgment of the Rising Light. Card Devastation is similar to Judgment in that it can also help you clear your opponent's highly base stat monsters just by making a bigger number than them. It also has a side benefit in that it can help clear your hand by itself in order to help get to the condition of the parallel buff Gate. 2 Magical Stone Excavation to help retrieve some of your powerful spells that you may have lost earlier in the game. Just simply getting to fetch your parallel buff Gates, your Secret Order, even your Judgments is very good. Because we are on 2 copies, we can occasionally loop these 2 to be able to empty our hand. Basically, if we have 1 in hand and 1 in the grave, we can use 1, discard 2 cards, and fetch the other Magical Stone Excavation to then use that copy of Magical Stone Excavation to discard 2 more cards, to add the other copy and rinse and repeat until you have discarded all the cards that you want. This is a very interesting way you can proc your parallel buff Gate. 2 copies of Heavenly Gift and 3 copies of Ship of 7 Treasures as our ways to draw more cards and empty our hand from our bricks. Heavenly Gift is interesting in that you can choose to just discard all your monsters to more consistently have the activation condition for the parallel buff Gate. And 1 Mirror Force, this is just a very strong legend card. I have considered Graceful Charity, but Mirror Force just wins the game on the spot sometimes, and it's also a way to help get past high base stat monsters if they attack into it, because you can just kill that monster. Don't play Reborn in this, your targets aren't very good, and if you do play Reborn in this deck, your targets are very reliant, like the strength of Reborn is very reliant on what your opponent is playing, so that isn't a huge sell for me, which is why I choose to run the more consistently powerful trap card in the Mirror Force. Also, just a way to interact with your opponent is pretty strong. It is also the only way to interact with your opponent, which is why I really like it in this deck. Now that we have gone over all the cards, it is time to go on to the gameplay. Okay, we are now back with a game. Good luck, have fun to our opponent. This hand is actually not that bad. We can just discard the Dracrush and the Stone Excavation to see what we get. Another Dosodon. This doesn't really do anything. I guess we set this one. And just to have the onboard presence, I want to Secret Order the Dracrush back, and then set the last one, just to have something on board. Okay. Playing Sea Serpents, okay. Luckily they don't have the really good high level, but Smogalon is enough to beat over my Dracrush, which is a problem. This hand is fine. Yeah, this hand is pretty good. We can go to Secret Order the Dracrush, and then we can Magical Stone Excavation, ditching 2 to grab the Secret Order again, and then we can Secret Order the Tough Striker from hand. And then we can choose whether we want to... Oh, we should have... Yeah, I forgot that Umi was debuffing my guys. I should have summoned the Max Raider instead for the bigger number. Definitely considering just giving him the Smegalon again, and then put back the. Yeah, let's do that. Setting my Dosodon back to the deck, and I can bounce the Smegalon just to get some tempo here. To deal some damage here. If he gets a way to put that on board, that's fine. Pass turn. A huge mistake to commit this Tough Striker instead of a Max Raider here. He has to activate Noodle me, that's good for us. Set 2, he has the Smegalon, I know that because I bounce it to hand. No back row though, which means we are relatively safe. Okay, back to us again. Oh, that's pretty good. I think I have to debuff it, right? Yeah, I have to debuff it. So I'll go Unfulfilled Goblin, activate effect, sending it to the grave, debuff the Smegalon. Then we can set this judgment. We can heavily give dash to discard the Dracrush. We don't care about the drawing here, we just care that it's emptying our hand, so we can parallel above gate to get the double Dracrush for big damage. Uh, 200 damage off. If this Umi wasn't on board, we would have had lethal already, which is unfortunate, but well. And now we can pass turn. Just 200 off. Just manifest sparks on top of our deck. That's how we win. Since they're playing Sea Serpent, well, they're all on like this Water Thunder. I guess it's just a beater. I was playing Searchboard Lizard in that slot for a while, and Angler Coil is just better there. So this is probably just like Sea Serpent stuff. If they have Daedalus, it's gonna be kind of annoying. Thunderbolt. Okay, interesting variant. It's nowhere near life though. One more closer to it being life, that's kind of spooky. This will be at 25, which is annoying because then I can't beat over it, but if they like lose this last card, then I can judgment them and then start punching them. Let's see what he does though. Just ends his turn. Okay, interesting. This is just lethal, right? Yeah, we just tribute summon the Tough Striker, and the Unfulfilled Goblin will debuff the Thunderbolt by 500. And 2400 minus 2000 is 400 damage for lethal. This is why the Unfulfilled Goblin is pretty good here. Just to be able to help you beat over these high level monsters. Like in that specific situation, Cannon Soldier would have done the same thing, but obviously you won't be in that specific situation that often. Sometimes your opponent will actually not die if you manage to find the Unfulfilled Goblin or whatever. I like just whiffing the Judgment to have it engraved so that I can Magical Stone Excavation and clear my hand. Just add it to hand again. And just set this to just remove some bricks from our hand. Super unfortunate position to be in. Has the Amazing Dealer but didn't use the effect. Oh, that's super unfortunate. Not something you want to see when you drawing poor hands. Sea Dragonite too. Okay. An unfortunate position. We are about to die, that's not great. Okay, and we have now lost the game. Unfortunate. Sometimes you just draw poorly and this is what you get. Which is super unfortunate, but that's like a small portion of the games half the time. But granted, it is more common to see these types of hands in this deck because of the ratios you are running to facilitate some cards. Okay, considering just parallel buff gating here just to get the body up, I think I will do that. Let's see if we high roll into another normal monster. We do not, so we can just grab the Tough Striker and then put it there, just to get the body up and have some amount of board presence. Sea Dragonite is I have the Mirror Fortress is a lot safer position than normally. I haven't seen a single Headbutt Charge-a-Lot yet. They should be on it. It's just kind of funny that I haven't seen a single copy. They bounced the wrong one, unfortunately for me. I'm considering just shotgunning this because we might just win on the crackback if I do this. Yeah, let's do that. It's entirely possible that I just win next one. This is unfortunately not the type of hand you want to be doing that with. I'll Heavenly Gift here to just send this Unfulfilled Goblin and just set some cards and then hope we high roll a normal monster of the Parallel Buff Gate. We actually do. So yeah, let's just special summon it and let's start swinging. It's kind of unfortunate that both of our high base stat level 7s just to get debuffed by Umi. It's like normally not something you should be that worried about, but it's coming up this matchup, which is kind of unfortunate, especially since these are the only normal monsters that we've have so far drawn into. They have just surrendered. I guess they don't have a good hand. GG's, I suppose. So those games showed off just how potentially aggressive this deck can be, with being able to swarm the board with those level 7 normal monsters to be able to just punch your opponent repeatedly with just a large wave of these monsters, and it also just showed just how bricky the deck can be in drawing poor hands. One suggestion I can make if you decide to try out this deck is maybe trying out one extra Heavenly Gift. You have seen just how potentially bricky this deck can be, and if you want to minimize your chances of not breaking that way, you can consider running one extra Heavenly Gift, which I'll definitely consider doing by myself. I didn't get to show off the Verdant Vegetation, but in the other games that I've had with this card, it's been doing okay. Like it actually does come up sometimes for the effect. All in all, very aggressive deck. Sometimes can brick, and if you don't like decks that have a pretty decent chance of bricking, I suggest not playing this deck. But if you just want a strong aggressive deck that can just swarm the field with these big bunguses that have no effects, definitely try this deck out. It is very fun to pilot. In any case, thank you for watching and we'll see you in the next one.